That's right, Notre Dame. If you didn't see this, maybe not, the Notre Dame reps, the big shots at that university, have gone into a defensive posture because it's not Lucky the Leprechaun, it's just a leprechaun. Lucky the Leprechaun's the Celtics, but the Leprechaun mascot has been voted the fourth most offensive mascot in a recent survey of college mascots. Now, the survey is a bit out in left field. It was conducted by a T-shirt company online, a company that makes T-shirts and promotional products in Illinois, and they asked people to rate the 128 mascots of colleges and universities with Division I football teams in order to bet, from the best, the worst, the sexiest, the creepiest, the most offensive, and the Leprechaun came in fourth. Now you're saying who was ahead of the Leprechaun? Well, Osceola, I believe is the Florida State mascot, Renegade. They were combined. Racist. The mascot there was number one. The Aztec Warrior of San Diego State was also there at number 2. Vili, the Warrior for the University of Hawaii, was also on the list. Now, that survey conducted by a T-shirt company, somebody sent a press release to a bunch of newspapers, and the Indianapolis Star got that email and said, we got gold. And so they then wrote a story about it, and they reached out to Notre Dame, big shots over there, and they said, hey, I would like a quote. And boy, did they ever get one. The university responded, and they said the Irish have been an important part of the school since its beginning and have played a key role in adopting the Fighting Irish name. They went on to say, our symbols stand as a celebratory representation of a genuine Irish heritage at Notre Dame, a heritage that we regard with respect, loyalty, and affection. The statement went on to read, the prepared statement. So let us discuss the question, what did you make of the rebuttal of Notre Dame? I loved it. It gets an A+. An A+. Good job by Notre Dame. So I've got Top Rope, Expedition, and Teachable. And we will combine all of these things together and we'll play Connect 3. Now, first of all, this is rare. It's really rare in 2021. You don't see this a lot. So we should all celebrate Notre Dame. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but much respect, a tip of the cap to Notre Dame officials. They stood their ground. Good job by them. And we'll see if this story dies or if this story has any legs in the coming days, weeks, months, etc. But we know recently that the mob, the woke mob, has convinced the Cleveland Indians to change their name to the Dopey Guardians. What a dumb nickname that is. And the Washington Redskins, they've had no nickname for the last couple of seasons, and God only knows what kind of redonkulous nickname they're going to come up there as they cowered in the corner eventually and started to pee their pants because of the pressure. I want to be liked by everybody. Now, that didn't happen here. Just the opposite, right? We told you the little backstory here. The Indy Star, the newspaper, got more than they bargained for. Notre Dame did not bow down. There's these people going around, the professionally offended class, offended by everything. Yeah, I'm offended, you're offended, we're all offended. Now, the Fighting Irish Leprechaun came flying down from the top rope, bam, and dropped the flying elbow. The flying elbow from the Leprechaun. Good job, right? Good job. Now, it is not an apples to apples comparison, clearly. It's more of an apples to a cantaloupe type situation. But imagine having the chutzpah to attack Notre Dame for showcasing their heritage and say, well, we're offended by this. So all these people are offended by it. Essentially demanding, like that where they were going is that, well, people are offended, you should change your nickname. That's essentially where this is leading, right? When you get led down the garden path, that's where that leads. That, hey, you should change the mascot and all that stuff. And the whole list is a fugazi list. It really is. They claim that Sparky the Sun Devil from Arizona State is the 8th most offensive mascot. A Sun Devil. A cartoon Sun Devil is the 8th most offensive. according to that list. Now, secondly, this whole thing was a total fishing expedition by the newspaper. And you wonder why people take pot shots at the media, the old school media, and then things like this pop up. Now, I get it. They were looking for a gotcha moment. They were trying to incite a wildfire, and maybe they will. Maybe this will turn out to be a wildfire, and other people that run around, and there's a whole cottage industry of people who make their living in the I'm offended, you're offended category. And those people will pick up on this story, and they'll say, well, wait a minute, we got to do something. But they took an online study from a T-shirt company and weaponized it, turning it into an inquisition of Notre Dame. And it was done sloppily, the survey and the details on the reporting. Why? There's a thing called lying by omission in court. And the mascot, Ocella and Renegade, the horse. I think the horse is named Renegade. I think I'm probably butchering that. But the mascot for Florida State has been endorsed by the Seminole tribe in Florida, from what I understand. And the Hawaii mascot, Villy, I believe is how it's pronounced, he retired as the mascot a decade ago. And then number 2 from San Diego, the Aztec Warrior, that mascot downgraded by San Diego State a couple years back because they were biting their fingernails. They were worried about the blowback there. They had all these meetings, and they got together. So, everyone hold hands here. Let's all hold hands. We got to figure this out. And so that mascot, the Aztec Warrior, demoted from official mascot to spirit leader. And they changed the appearance of the mascot. But the whole thing here, you're doing a story and you're saying the survey is like, well, the third most offensive mascot is a mascot that last worked college football in 2011. What are we doing? All right, a final thought here. So this response, I want to circle back to the response by Notre Dame. It is a teachable moment. They took a negative and turned it into a positive. And they explained the whole story, right? They explained the whole story. It's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. It's from a different time, many, many years back in the day. But they pointed out, and others have written stories about this, the Leprechaun was actually patterned after a character, a stereotype of the Irish, right? In that day, it was a degrading thing, the weird face, the short, the pug nose and all that, and it was a way to mock the Irish heritage. Now, from what I read online, it was because in the days when that became a character, it was associated with syphilis, the sexually transmitted disease syphilis that was running amok at the time. And the term fighting Irish was also a slang term that Notre Dame decided, you know what, you're going to rip us. We're going to take that and we're going to use that. We're going to celebrate that. And you can thank, if you're offended by fighting Irish, you can thank Northwestern, because the story here, if we believe it, once upon a time at a football game in 1899. Think about that for a second. 1899. Wow. We are going back over 120 years. Northwestern students started chanting, "Kill the Fighting Irish. Kill the Fighting Irish." And the media picked up on that, and they then began using fighting Irish as a phrase in their stories, even though it was used as a attack on Notre Dame by the Northwestern students. And eventually Notre Dame fans said, wait a minute here. We're going to turn this thing that Northwestern was trying to shame us on, in your face expression, and we are going to turn that around, and we are going to make this a powerful thing. And that's exactly what they did. And it wasn't until almost 30 years later that the Fighting Irish nickname was official. 1927, it became official, but it's been there for almost 100 years. But a great job by Notre Dame with the statement. Good job by them, and the fact that they turned the tables and not bowing down. We'll see if this story has legs or not, if other people start banging the drum. The super wokesters, though, they love this kind of stuff. The wokerati, like, whoa, wait, they're looking for something to be offended about, and they're like, well, this is perfect, right? Embrace the very thing that you use to mock and ridicule, which is what Notre Dame did. That's a great life lesson. Of course, it's a different time 120 years ago. Now, instead of embracing what is deemed offensive, what you do is just cancel it. you cancel it and you say we just got to get rid of it, and we'll go Joseph Stalin territory and just make it go away, because that'll solve everything.